Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at Noon.
Two thieves robbed two UK students on campus and at gunpoint.
The family of a Dallas sheriff's deputy who tested negative for Ebola speaks out. I'm Omar Villafranca in Dallas with their story coming up.
Rain chances will return for the afternoon and evening hours for all of central and eastern Kentucky, not just a few of us. This big push of moisture is on the way. I'll have the very latest. WKYT News at Noon starts now.
Good afternoon. I'm Barbara Bailey. Bill has the day off. You might want to keep your umbrellas handy for whatever you have planned this weekend. Many parts of the Bluegrass are seeing steady rain right now, and there's more to come. WKYT meteorologist Jim Caldwell is live in our First Alert Weather Center now, tracking the showers and keeping us alert on what's ahead for the weekend. Jim?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Barb, we have a lot of rain coming our way today and through the weekend. We do get some breaks thrown into the mix, though, but it stays predominantly wet as we head through that entire weekend. Still tracking some showers down to our south. We've been dry here in Lexington as far as new rainfall is concerned for a while, but most of the shower and even some thunderstorm activity has been hanging out to our south. Generally, it's light in nature from Somerset down toward Monticello. Got some light rain falling there. We move a little more toward the east into Harlan, parts of Perry County, Leslie County, all seeing some of that lighter rain. You can see how it's been moving the past few hours, and you can see that the folks seeing the most rainfall, at least today, have been right through that corridor, right along the Kentucky-Tennessee state line. Plenty of showers ramping up for them. As we look ahead to our three-day threat track, which of course includes that weekend, tomorrow we kind of go back down to the low-risk area because we might have a clear afternoon. But on Sunday, we start rolling that rain back through the area again with more heavy potential. And then next week, it continues. I'll break that down for you coming up here in just a few minutes, Barb.
All right, thank you. A 13-year-old sits in jail today accused of stealing not one, but two big rigs. WKYT's Mark Barber is in Clark County where the thefts happened. He has more on the joyride that landed a teen in big trouble with police. It's our top story at noon.
Swerving from one side of the road to the other. I'm told it's remarkable no one was hurt. Kentucky State Police say the 13-year-old boy stole two tractor trailers last night. The Clark County Sheriff says the teen stole the first truck, a semi hauling grain, at a truck stop on exit 94 on I-64 yesterday afternoon. Madison County deputies tell us he abandoned that 18-wheeler on I-75 northbound near mile marker 97 around 8 o'clock last night. Investigators believe the teen then walked 2 miles to exit 95 and stole a tanker truck carrying oil. Police say they caught up to the 13-year-old around 10 o'clock that night when they noticed an 18-wheeler without taillights swerving on I-64 near Winchester. We're told the teen was able to steal both semis because the keys were left in the cab. State police tell us the boy's father filed a missing report on the teen in Winchester when he didn't come home after school yesterday. KSP believe the boy took the tractor trailers out for a joyride. Investigators tell us the teen told them he learned to drive 18-wheelers just by paying attention.
Semi is difficult to control for unexperienced drivers. People that's been behind the wheels even 30, 40 years, they have a hard time with them. But it's just remarkable what the kid was thinking when he got in the truck.
The teen is charged with receiving stolen property. In Madison County, Mark Barber, WKYT.
Mark, thank you. And the teen is being held at the Fayette County Detention Center. State police say this isn't the first time he's stolen trucks in the area. New details just into our newsroom about an elderly man found dead at his eastern Kentucky home. The Rowan County coroner is ruling the death of 82-year-old Lloyd Souders a homicide. According to the coroner, Souder died of multiple sharp and blunt force trauma. A friend called police after finding the 82-year-old outside his home on Lafayette Drive near Moorhead. We have a crew in Rowan County working to track down more on this case. We'll bring you an update ahead at 12:30. We're learning new information about a robbery at the University of Kentucky. Campus police now tell us that the two victims of the crime were students. This holdup is just one of several recent scares that have prompted crime bulletins on campus. WKYT's Whitney Wetzel has reaction now from students. Whitney?
This robbery happened right in the heart of campus, across the street from the library and close to several fraternity and sorority houses.
We didn't know it was a gunshot at first, just a big loud boom, and one of our friends was actually walking right here, and he heard it, and he just sprinted into the house, and we kind of realized what it was.
Austin Mullen heard the shot around 11:30 last night, right outside of his fraternity house on Pennsylvania Avenue. Shortly after, UK sent out a crime alert to students and staff. Police say two men armed with guns robbed two students of their cell phones. The robbers had followed those students all the way from Euclid Avenue. At some point after the robbery, police say a shot was fired. It's unclear who fired that shot, but a shell casing was found near the scene. No one was hurt. This robbery follows another that happened last week on East Maxwell, not far from campus. Students we talked to say while these crimes are alarming, they're not too worried.
I mean, I don't live too far from here, so, you know, seeing something happen kind of like right on your doorstep is a little bit concerning, but overall I think campus safety is pretty solid. And you know what, at the end of the day, these things happen.
UK police say they are reviewing campus surveillance video to try and get a better description of the suspects. In Lexington, Whitney Wetzel, WKYT.
Whitney, thank you. Now, the suspects are described as black men. They're both about 5'9" with medium build. One had cornrows and was wearing dark, baggy clothes. The other was wearing dark jeans, a black and white striped sweatshirt, and white or light pink polo-style ball cap. Funeral services will be held today for a man shot and killed inside a Lexington home just last week. Dozens of people came out to remember Darnell Bates. He was inside his home on Addy Alley Sunday morning when two men broke in and shot him. Bates' funeral started just a few minutes ago at Bethesda Baptist Church in Lexington. He leaves behind two children. A clerk shot during a robbery attempt is making some improvements. 21-year-old Zoe Reed is still at UK Hospital. She was working in the Danville Domino's last month when a robber shot her. She lost a kidney, part of her liver, and part of her colon as a result. Her father tells the Danville Advocate Messenger that while Reed has a long road to recovery, she's now taking steps and starting to eat real food. Danville police arrested 5 people in connection to the crime. We're learning more about the safe return of a Madison County teenager who had been missing for nearly a week. A missing Madison County teenager has been found. State police tell WKYT that Sierra Reinhardt was found in Greer City, South Carolina by the local police there. The 15-year-old was last seen on I-75 last week, possibly getting into someone's car. State police do not believe she was abducted or hurt during the 7 days she was missing. She's now back in the custody of her mother. Customers in Kentucky are being put on alert after another major data breach. Dairy Queen says nearly 400 of their restaurants have been hacked since August, affecting about 600,000 credit cards. That includes 52 locations in Kentucky. We have a full list of those stores on WKYT.com. A congressional hearing in Dallas this afternoon is looking into how the Ebola emergency has been handled in that city. An Ebola patient from Liberia died in Dallas earlier this week, underscoring questions about how his case was handled. Omar Villafranca is in Dallas now with the latest.
The wife of a Dallas sheriff's deputy who tested negative for Ebola says her husband was disturbed by what he saw inside the apartment Thomas Duncan was staying before he died from the disease.
The patient had apparently been sick throughout the apartment, and it wasn't necessarily cleaned up very well.
Duncan, who was from Liberia, is the first person to die from Ebola in the U.S. He was initially turned away from the hospital 3 days before being put into isolation. Even though her husband tested negative for Ebola, Lisa Monig says the order her husband received to enter the contaminated apartment was an unnecessary risk, and that sheriff's deputies should have been provided more protective gear. Dallas County Judge Clay Jenkins, who is overseeing the city's Ebola emergency response, is urging Dallas residents to stay calm. He says the 48 people who had direct or indirect contact with Duncan are showing no signs of Ebola.
every day that we go by without any of those 48 showing symptoms is a day that you should have more confidence that you are going to be okay.
The U.S. is ramping up aid to West Africa. Military planes and helicopters delivered dozens of Marines and supplies into Liberia, joining hundreds more who are building treatment centers for Ebola patients. Omar Villafranca, CBS News, Dallas.
Now, in the U.S. this weekend, health officials are beginning to screen air passengers from West Africa arriving at major airports, starting with JFK International in New York. Fort Campbell soldiers are now being trained on how to avoid the Ebola virus during their upcoming deployment to Liberia. At least 700 members of the 101st Airborne Division will deploy to the African country starting next week as part of the U.S. military's humanitarian mission. The mission is aimed at building Ebola care centers and training healthcare workers. People traveling through a construction area likely encountered some delays this morning. We told you yesterday about a shift in lanes on Leestown Road as part of an ongoing widening project. This morning, the Transportation Department tweeted that there were some signal timing problems that caused traffic to back up this morning. They said that moving the signals around sometimes messes them up. The department said that timing should be better throughout the day. The Big Blue Nation can get a little glimpse today of the basketball team in action. Today, the players on Coach Cal's team will take the court, but not for fans. They'll be displaying their skills for 90 NBA personnel. Coach Cal tweeted video of the setup for today's NBA Combine. While fans can't attend, you can still watch it on TV. The fun begins at 3 on ESPNU. And it may be hard to believe, but we're now just 1 week away from Big Blue Madness, the official kickoff of the basketball season.